So, I started reading One Piece. I read volume 1. What did I think? Hold on! Remember, I'm just like you. I buy all the things, too. So, I have a confession. I have read, for sure, volume 1 before. It gets confusing from there because I've watched the anime past that point before, but not too much farther have I watched. Well, I don't think I've really read farther than this before, and the anime I've only watched maybe, you know, 10, 12 episodes. This is as close to a first time read as I'm going to get on One Piece, so I'm going to just document it, and I'm actually going to read it this time. And part of the reason why I want to do this is so I'll actually read it, because I've always wanted to read it, and I actually prefer reading it to watching it. I don't know if that's common. I mean, definitely with books and movies, that's a common thing. People tend to either, prefer one or the other. Or if you're going to do both, people tend to prefer reading it first. Maybe not everybody, but I'm like that. Reading manga, I can control the tone a little bit, whereas in the anime, it's usually leaned into, and I mean, it can be very enjoyable, but sometimes it's leaned into harder than I want to imagine it. So I prefer reading it. So is anyone else like that? I think a lot of people just watch the anime, and then maybe if they like it, will go back and read the manga, right? I think that happens. And sometimes these stories start as something else, and then a manga is made. But in the cases where it originates in comic form, I just enjoy it better that way, or I think I do. This goes through the sort of origin of the main character, Luffy, I think is how you say his name, and how he gets his abilities and how he decides on his goal in life, which is to be the king of the pirates, which has to do with claiming a famous treasure. This goes from his origin and how that, comes about up through him basically defeating Captain Morgan and then meeting Nami for the first time. And there are hints of the next villain who doesn't come up in this first volume, but his name does, and that's Pirate Buggy the Clown. Yeah, so that's not the scariest name. I have seen Buggy the Clown before in the anime, though, so I'm aware of what that is. Volume 1, it's 8 chapters of the first 8 chapters of the manga. You can buy it volume by volume, or they sell these 3-volume sets. And then there's also the cheapest way to read it. It's probably, if you're going to sit down and actually read it, is Shonen Jump on their website. I think it's like $3 a month. So if you can sit down and read all of that, they have all of it on there in a month. You can catch up to the current chapter if you'd like, which is quite a lot. It's well over 1,000 chapters at this point. For like $3 a month there. So you want to buy the thing, check the links below in the description below. The first thing that comes to mind here, I've tried to get into One Piece multiple times. I've always struggled. And it's not because it isn't good. It's just, I think there's a tone issue. Like I feel like I'm too old to read this stuff at this point. But even the first time I've tried to read it, I was much younger than I am now. And I still didn't care. And this is a long time ago when Naruto was still in its early stages, and I was watching that, and I never finished that or the manga, the anime or the manga there either. But so that was my first attempt, and then more recently I've had little attempts. I get what happens is I'll start either reading the manga or watching the anime, and then I'll switch to the other one. And then I'll be, in the midst of trying to switch back and forth, I just get overwhelmed. Something else catches my attention. So maybe making videos volume by volume will encourage me to keep going, because it's a lot of fun. That's really the main thing. This stuff is just fun. I'm not saying there isn't more to dig into, but mainly this is like escapist entertainment for fun. There's nothing too incredibly topical or serious going on. Not that you can't read things into it if you want, and not that the emotions aren't there, and you can still feel something reading this, but it's escapism in the best possible sense. I appreciate the main character's motivation more, or his perseverance, because that's like a main sort of core value of this character. He's decided what he wants to do, and he's going to do it even if he dies trying, even if he doesn't get there, even if it's super unlikely. I think that there's a lesson there for a lot of people. And now I'm going to try to make something serious out of One Piece, but that it's true. If you have some lofty goal, that if in order to have any chance of getting it, right, you really do need to some degree, maybe not to the extreme degree in One Piece, but to some degree, you need to want it enough that you're going to go after it no matter what. And you would do that even if the chances are you're not going to get it. You put that aside and you go after it anyway. Like, well, I don't care if I don't get it. I'm going to go after it anyway. And if I die trying, or I die along the way before I get it, I'm okay with that, because I went after what I wanted. So there's something very powerful there. Know what you want and go after it no matter what. If you can do that in your life, and a lot of people really struggle with that, and I've struggled with that myself, but if you do that, you will likely live a much more fulfilling life. So there's that. That's something I get out of One Piece. That's really the main thing I get out of One Piece. You can take that into any aspect of your life. Starting a business, losing weight, whatever, like, you want it, you have to kind of go for it, like, with everything you have, and there will be people along the way who get in your way in one form or another, and you just have to push through them. You have to win that fight, or die trying, and be willing to do that. At this early stage in the story, I think that's really my main takeaway, and what's going to drive me to keep reading it. As I read through it, I may go more into story stuff. I'm not going to promise no spoilers at all, but I'm going to try to be minimal unless a point I want to make is dependent on a plot point. But we'll see. So I think a lot of people have read this or know that, or watched it, and they know the story better than me. So, I'm not too worried about spoiling things at this point, at least not this early on. So check the links in the description below if you want to buy it. Like and subscribe to the channel for free if you want to support the channel that way. I would appreciate it. Super close to 200 subscribers. Last time I looked, I was 12 away. So if someone wants to jump on that and get me there soon, that would be great. Thank you. And yes, so buy the things, buy all the things. I'm just like you. I buy all the things too. Peace.